Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to clean a DSLR or a 90s era camera, something that does, if your film camera looks generally like this, that's what I'm talking about with 90s era. Basically plastic housing cameras like this. So this is a DSLR. We're going to start by cleaning the lens. What we're going to need for this is lens tissue. I like a spray bottle of lens cleaner. That's optional. It doesn't have to be a spray bottle. I think it does a better job. Here we have some rubbing alcohol, Q-tips, cotton swabs of any kind, and we're going to have a DSLR brush here as well. So first thing we're going to do is clean the lens because that's quick and easy. So we're going to grab our cleaning tissue. We're going to spritz it on the side there. We want to leave ourselves a little bit of a dry spot. We're just going to gently use the weight of our fingers to go over the lens. And then there's a little bit of moisture left, so you don't ever want to put a dry tissue on a lens, but if there's moisture left, then you use the dry part of the tissue to wick it away from the lens. The rear element looks good, so I'm not going to touch that. Just use the last of the moisture in this lens tissue to clean up dust on the lens housing. And there we go. That lens is cleaned. We'll set that off to the side. We are, for the time, done with the lens tissue. Next, we're going to clean the body of the DSLR. And you'll be looking at it like this. What you'll want to do is take cotton swabs and rubbing alcohol and just start going over it. Very similar process to cleaning up a film camera, if you've seen my video on that. The main difference is that newer cameras have a different kind of dirt. I found that the DSLRs tend to have mostly just dust. 90s cameras have a little bit of stuck-on dust. But older film cameras from the 60s, 70s, and 80s often have grime. And I'll tell you, the hardest thing to clean off of a camera, especially an old one, whether it's from the 80s or the 60s, is cigarette smoke. I had a camera come in once. It was a metal silver camera that had been in a smoker's house, and the silver parts of it had been stained with so much smoke that they were like this champagne gold color, and it was disgusting. It took me about 150 cotton swabs and 2 refills of one of my little film plastic containers of rubbing alcohol to get all of that brown gunk off the camera. It was awful. Cigarette smoke really just stains things badly. And back in the day when there were more smokers, it was a whole lot more common for there to be cigarette smoke staining these things. I'm just going to put a little bit of rubbing alcohol on here to get some of the, there was some dirt on the screen that was really kind of sticky. Then we're going to grab a lens tissue and just with the weight of our fingers go over it. If you don't have really bad dirt, you can just use your lens cleaning fluid again on the LCD screen. That's just fine. Spritz a little bit in the corner here because the next thing we're going to do. Modern cameras have better coating in their viewfinders, and it's a little bit more sensitive to scratches than older cameras. So with 90s cameras and DSLRs, I don't use cotton swabs to clean the viewfinders unless it's a last resort. I will instead just use a lens tissue with lens cleaning fluid. All right, mirror on this camera looks really good. If it was a little bit dirty, APS-C mirrors are a little bit challenging to clean, but at any rate, basically be the same process, a little bit of lens cleaning tissue on, lens cleaning fluid on a tissue, and then just using the weight of your finger to get in there. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to clean the sensor on this. And I don't recall, there it is, sensor cleaning. Clean manually. So every digital camera is going to have a different method of sensor cleaning. And what you want to do is find out how to do it in your instruction manual, pop up the mirror, and open the shutter, and then you're just going to use a DSLR brush like this one to clean the sensor. You actually want to hold the camera down as you're doing this, because that way any dust that you knock free will fall out of the sensor, or fall out of the camera. But I also want you to kind of see the technique that I'm using. Brush things off to the side, brush things off to the side, up and down, go over it a few times. I tend to try to angle the brush off to the side to knock any dust that's on the sensor away from it. There we go. And then, of course, in real life, I'm doing that all with the camera upside down. As soon as I'm done, I turn it off and get the lens back on so that there's a minimal chance of additional dust making its way into the camera after I've completed that. This is the sensor brush I take with me on all of my hikes, by the way. If you shoot digital in an outdoor environment and you are switching lenses often, it's a good idea to carry one of these with you when you're shooting. Just toss it in your camera bag, your backpack, your pocket, whatever it is, and clean your sensor between every few lens changes. With a camera with a shutter, maybe every 5 to 8, 10 lens changes. If you're using mirrorless without a shutter, then every other lens change is how often I clean the sensor when I'm out shooting in the field. And that is how to clean a digital or late stage film camera so that, man, this looks so much nicer than it did just a few minutes ago. Look at that. That's a good looking camera. Thank you for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up. That lets me know that I'm on the right track producing content which is useful and helpful to you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comments section below. I'm pretty good about checking these every couple of days and answering questions. If you have any suggestions or ideas for future videos, and if I have the technical know-how and equipment, I'm more than happy to make those. One last thing. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I gotta get up, Steinbeck. I have to turn off the camera.